Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And tonight I've got a very special guest joining me from a Warriors Fan TV. And you guys would have already saw his face not long ago, actually, on their
All right.
channel, Warriors Fan TV. They were only just live not long ago with their show doing the discussion on the game. But yeah, going to review the Warriors Canberra Raiders match with Rio. It's great to have Rio back on the channel. You guys will know he's been on my channel before, and we're going to discuss the game, give our thoughts, and yeah, how you going, Rio? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, kia ora, Christian. Thanks for the invite, brother. I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it a lot, actually. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Yeah, just kind of, I done my review today. And yeah, it's funny because when you're watching the game live, there was plenty of cursing and going off at the ref, but on review,
Yep.
when you kind of see the like the checks and balances, yeah. I was saying to you earlier, Big
Yep.
Tups, Big Joe, he should have gone for the sin bin at least once. But you push your luck, you get away with it, then hey, good on you. Um, and he's the captain, so I guess he's leading by example, kind of thing. But no, you're looking forward to tonight, bro. And keen to hear what you got your analysis, my bro. Your analysis of the game.
Yeah, so before getting into it, guys, make sure you are liking the live stream, do all the following. It all does help the channel. Click that thumbs up button, like the live stream if you haven't done so already. It only takes a second. Just click that big thumbs up button, and also don't forget if you are a new viewer or returning viewer to the channel, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and yeah, go and subscribe to Warriors Fan TV as well on YouTube, and yeah,
Check.
go and follow them on all their platforms as well. Do all the following because it's all good to share the love with the Warriors community, content
Mm,
community, and
absolutely,
obviously there's so many.
absolutely.
There's almost well, there's a lot of Warriors content creators now. There's a lot of them out there,
Mm,
and they're doing a great job as well. So shout out to
yeah,
all of them as
absolutely, bro.
well. So yeah, and yeah, don't forget interact in the live chat. Send in your comments, your questions, and yeah,
Mm,
we'll read them out on the screen as well. We'll get Rio's thoughts as well on some of the comments and questions as well, and I'll give my thoughts on them too. So yeah, do interact in the live chat if you are here and you're watching, and yeah, it's much appreciated as well. So we'll get into the game.
mm,
As Rio can't be here for too long because obviously it's late over there in New Zealand. So we'll get into the game.
mm,
First things first. How did you feel going into this one? Because I felt relatively confident, but a little bit nervous because I know the Raiders. Obviously,
mm,
coming to this, they weren't sitting in the top four, and they're in some great form this year. And we
mm.
played them in Vegas, and obviously we lost to them in Vegas by a big score. It was a big score, smashing
Yeah,
really. But
yeah,
this
yeah.
game we were without Barney and Fisher Harris. Fisher Harris obviously was suspension, and Barnett due to the state of origin. Which
Mm,
congratulations to Barney on getting selected for New South Wales.
mm. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Canberra Raiders, they were without Hudson Young, which is they're only out for this game. So I know the
Mm,
Raiders love being underdogs. Classic Ricky Stewart side coming over to New Zealand, and we know what they're
mm.
like as a team. But were you confident going into this one, or were you a little bit wary?
Yeah,
How did you feel?
yeah. I guess built on our defensive effort for the last 4 or 5 rounds, and because of the nature of the close losses, I
Yep.
really felt I felt quite confident that we were gonna get them. Um, I did say last week that I hope we get revenge uh, for
Yeah.
Vegas because they done a number on us, and it was kind of,
Mm,
and you couldn't help but feel for like all the fans, all the Warriors fans that had made that trip to be there for the weekend and then to have that result, come up. Um, but no, yeah, I went into Sunday night's game thinking, yep, we've got a really good shot at not just beating the Raiders, but pegging ourselves into that number one first equal, with the doggies. So yeah, but typical Auckland weather. Um, it was atrocious, and even from watching, went down to a local pub, caught up with my bro down there, and there was a good crowd down there. Um, But yeah, you're watching it and kind of feeling for the fans because when Auckland when that Auckland weather turns that sort of crap on, it's just like, oh man, only the heartiest of fans are gonna be sitting there cheering the team on.
Yeah,
Can I just say sorry, bro? I was gonna mention
yep,
so crowd attendance, the crowd number they had 26,512 fans. So that's not a bad effort considering the weather conditions. So again, our fans are they're a pretty loyal fan base, especially those that live in Auckland. And the
yep,
boys at home hadn't been home for ages, So yeah, it was just a shame we couldn't get the dub. And in those black jerseys, loved those
yeah.
Louis Brown inspired black jerseys, the Dear Warrior, the whole story behind it. It was
Mm.
cool. It was a really good occasion. Just a shame we didn't get the dub.
Yeah, the jerseys. I love the jerseys.
Mm,
It's very
yeah,
cool. And obviously they've been selling out massively
yeah, yeah.
people struggling to buy them, and it was great. Louis Brown designed them, and it was
Mm.
great job by Louis
Oh
Brown
heck
to
yeah, yeah,
pick out that jersey. It was bloody awesome. Good to
yeah,
see us in the black as well, and obviously
yeah, yeah.
I loved it when we played in black years ago as well.
Mm.
Just original.
Yeah, same,
Sort of,
same, bro. Yeah.
yeah, but
And
yeah, yeah. Oop,
oh
go
no,
ahead.
sorry, bro.
Yep. Okay.
Just that whole yeah, just the story behind it because I think Louis Brown's gone into like the fashion industry, so
Mm,
it's not that he's just come out and made a jersey. He's actually got a fashion line, and so he's obviously put a lot of thought and time into it. um, and the club have created the opportunity for him to kind of give back in that way. So yeah, and they sold the hotcakes, and it's unsurprising. So Damien, who's on the Warriors fan TV, um,
yep.
he's got himself one. Took photos of it, showed us that. He was wearing it Sunday night, and it was just
Oh
like,
well.
bro, yeah, they're stylish jerseys, bro. They're very,
Well,
and I just like the simplicity of it, just the black and the
yeah.
white. And it's like, yeah, they were nice jerseys.
Yeah. So look, the game itself.
Mm,
Look,
mm,
the start of this game really. I think as you expect, a really physical side the Rays, and both teams defensively really much on it from the start.
yeah,
What
yep,
what did you make of it? That like the first opening couple minutes of this
yeah.
game.
They so the Raiders pretty much deployed their back five. So
Yeah,
uh, they kicked off to us. As soon as they got possession, their back five just kicked into gear, and they were
yeah,
they were they were carving up the yards. Sadly, quite easily.
yeah,
And yeah, so their forwards actually had a break for there's the I think like the first two or maybe three sets. By the third or
mm,
fourth tackle, then they were starting to engage, and I was just like, yeah, no, they've definitely come with their A game. Um, yeah, and their back five were keen. Um, yeah, hard to argue with how they were running at us. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. And even the commentators were saying, they're Canberra have got a deadly back five, and and when they click into gear, then they make it hard for teams. Yeah, so I wasn't knew it was going to be a tough one, and in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes were exactly that.
yeah, and definitely it was, and of course a couple of penalties and six agains by
Mm,
given away by both sides. And I
yeah,
think Adam G, he was really really policing that throughout the game, throughout
mm,
the first half as well. And I know there's some fans, Warriors fans or Canberra Raiders fans not really happy with Adam G's officiating throughout the whole game.
yeah,
Yeah, but there was a couple of times with the Raiders. Obviously, they were warned a few times.
mm, yeah,
Tarpanay, I think it was Tarpanay. He actually got put on report for I think it was a crusher tackle and chance to do a cook star.
mm,
Now,
yeah,
what do you make of that call? Just there's a few different calls throughout this game, but that was one of them. What
yeah.
was
It was unfortunately for us. Chance historically likes to
yeah.
milk penalties.
Mm,
Chance and Dylan used to do it all the time,
yeah.
but it hasn't happened as much this year, but and in regards to crusher tackles, it probably wasn't as bad as some of those ones. Um, oh, sorry, I just saw someone meat hunters comments.
Someone
Wow,
doing
they're all
it.
doing double shift. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, doing the double, bruh, on the
Double
double.
tonight.
Uh, yeah, but no double time for this fella. Um, but yeah, Tampane's crusher tackle. I've
Yep.
seen worse, and but his reaction after it, because he's just badgering the ref, just giving the ref a
Mm,
hard time, and then he's giving it to our um he's giving it to our forwards,
yeah.
just the way, yes, and doing the crybaby stuff, and it's just like, fuck, this guy's fired up, bro. He yeah, he was probably relieved that Big Fish wasn't playing, so he knew he could play up
Mm,
a little bit more. Um, Definitely seen worse, but
yeah.
yeah, he was in the G's ear. He was in G's ear a lot, or and vice versa. Refs trying to warn him and warn him and warn him. A couple of times, just waiting for him to just say, "Nah, psst,
Yep.
you can go have a break, mate. Go sit down for 10." Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I think it's I don't think that was really. I don't think that was a bad of a tackle, to be honest.
Mm,
I don't think there was much in it. I know a lot of Warriors fans will disagree with me on this one, but look, for me, I don't think there was much of a tackle. And look, I don't think it was really. They say it was a crusher tackle. I probably say it was. I don't know. I don't think it was. Usually I'd be like if I was of course. Usually as a one-eyed fan, I'd probably say yes, but look,
mm,
I don't think it was. To be honest. And
mm,
apparently he got off with just a warning.
mm.
From what I heard today, in the Fox League reported that he's didn't get suspension. He didn't get suspension for it, which I think it's fair. I think it's fair enough. I have no issue with it. But yeah, that's just my opinion on the whole thing. But obviously, there's a couple of few other incidents throughout this game, and Horsburgh was
Oh
another
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Horsburgh, I actually agree with Horsburgh's one. I
Mm,
think it was on near Corey.
yep. On Marata.
And yeah,
Yeah.
Marathi. I absolutely agree with this one. I thought
Yep.
Horsburgh should. This was the correct call.
Mm,
And yeah, it was well so high. It was high,
mm,
high for me. But what do
mm.
you make of the high shot from Horsburgh on near Corey? What are your
Oh,
thoughts on it?
I have an honest opinion, and then I have a Warriors fan TV opinion. Nah, um, my Warriors fan
Yeah,
TV opinion is very
yeah,
much yeah. No, I mean he's a fiery redhead that goes out
mm,
and just can't help himself. Um, but I've put it out on our channel, the whole, like, I hate Corey Holsworth, and I think he's a fucking grub. Um, and he goes out there
yeah,
and he does dirty shit all the time. Um, and he gets away with it. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But he had the cheek to smash Marata and then kind of like question the ref, like, really, ref? And it's like, bro, what planet are you on, mate? Of course you should get sent off for that. But yeah, I've
mm,
always thought the guy's a grub. Um, he just happened to have a really good game, and
yeah,
I hate saying that sort of stuff, bro, because he's on my list of players that are. It's not that it's a massive list,
yeah,
but there definitely were some Canberra names that I added to that list after Sunday, and he's my number one. He's the top of the my list. And,
yeah, yeah. Not the biggest fan of Horsburgh, but yeah, look, I felt like obviously that was the call there, and then the Warriors decided to go for 2 points.
mm,
Oh, look, I felt like we probably should have maybe at least gone for the try in that moment. I don't know, like, yeah. What do you reckon there? Because we had them under a bit of an opportunity where we could put some pressure on them, and obviously they had to go to the bin. Do you think it
yeah,
was the right call? To go for the two at that stage, or I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah.
take the points. You take the points because it's a tough. It's going to be a tough, close game,
Mm,
and obviously the conditions and that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah.
I've noticed that we've done it quite a lot this year. We've gone and taken the 2 points. We haven't been shy of doing that.
Mm,
So
yeah. Um, I'm probably leaning more towards they taking the two as opposed to
Yeah.
because we've got the
Yeah.
numerical advantage.
Mm,
Um, you know, Riff killed the game. Too many penalties really killed the flow of the game. Yeah,
yeah.
I personally it was like the conditions were just it wasn't going to be a free flowing game.
Yeah.
And I'd mentioned it earlier tonight about the whole. It wasn't the sort of game you could be doing really high, even though Fogarty was his bombs were killing us. It wasn't the sort of game because even on a dry track, you've got to be able to nail those 9 times out of 10. You don't want to be fluffing those. And for me, it just wasn't. The conditions weren't right for it. So taking the two, yeah, I agreed with that. I thought, no, I
Yeah.
I'm glad they did
Yep. Hello to Tans in the chat. Kia ora, Tans. Good to see you.
it.
Hope you're doing
Sure,
well.
time.
Uh, Hello to Mez as well. Good to see you, Mez, in
Mm.
the chat. And yeah, I'll just go through some of the comments. We could get back in. So Sama Middlehead saying here, I know this sounds petty, but I hope the Raiders get robbed by the Chooks.
Bang on, bang on. Hope they do too.
And to Braden, hello to Braden Kendall saying the Wars will bounce back against the Rabbitohs. Well, fingers
Mm.
crossed. Hopefully, hope we
Yeah,
do. Really
yeah,
hope
yeah.
we do. But yeah, of course, two nil. We go up 2-0 there, and
Mm.
yeah, Metcalf he kicks the penalty goal.
Mm.
And then I think from there on we was the next play. It was a actually a good run there by chance. Nickel Cookstad CNK.
Mm.
To get us down there, just give us that field position, and then in the next play, it was actually great bit of great hands here for Metcalf to Pompey, and Pompey's had a knack of doing this year when he's been playing well. Pompey, he's been in great
Mm.
form. He's
Yeah.
doing very well. And RTS, the man himself, Roger, he finishes off. I thought he was going to go out the
Mm.
sideline.
No, same,
I was,
same, bro.
I was, yeah, I was a bit worried there for a second. I thought he was going to go out, but it was great work
Yeah,
by Roger, to
yeah,
go in and ground that ball. Power his way through a few players, and then
yeah.
barges over to make it six to make it our first try of the game. And yeah,
Mm.
what are your thoughts on the lead up of the play to that try?
Yeah, no, it was good actually. Everything you've covered off, bro. And
Yeah.
again, I mentioned it earlier tonight. The whole, just the way, even the way Roger scored it, the way he got up, there was no doubting it. Even though in real time, when you watch it when it was live, it was like,
Mm,
oh yeah, no, he got nailed. The defender got him, but when you see the replay, it's just like, oh damn! And the way he's reaching over the back of his head is just like, bro, that was actually quite a hard try to score. you know. Um,
yeah.
but he nailed it, and he got up super confident, and it's just like nice, bro. Good to see Rod score like that. Good to see him score. Full stop.
Oh, and Roger, he loves scoring tries against the Raiders too. He's got a
Mm,
good try scoring record against the Raiders in
yeah.
his past few games I saw. So yeah, it was great to see Roger go over. Obviously, we go up by 6 points to nil, then Metcalf converts to make it 8-0, and
Mm,
from there on 8-0, I thought, look, it was a solid start. Solid start.
mm,
Very tough physical game. First half, majority of the first half, and then us to go 8-0 up was great for us, but and then I think it was Corey Horsburgh actually. The obviously the scoreboard was watching the game back, and the scoreboard and the graphics weren't working. So trying
oh,
to guess
okay.
when when it was oh no, because it was on Sky Sports. I don't know if you when you were watching it um the replay on the NRL website. I was watching it. They were on Sky Sports New Zealand coverage, and the graphics weren't popping up on the screen. So
Oh well.
yeah,
Actually, yeah. Uh, no, actually, it was like that at the pub
yeah.
because yeah, we couldn't see what the count was.
Mm.
The tackle count. Yeah, no, it was the same over here.
Yeah, but when I watched it back because I watched it back like on replay, and the replay on the NRL website on the NRL app they had the Sky Sports coverage, but when I watched it live on Sunday it was the Channel 9 commentary.
Okay. Is
Yeah,
it
the
better?
Channel 9 commentary there on Oz, and they had the graphics all working, but I saw
Mm,
that New Zealand people were talking about the graphics not working, and I noticed it when I was watching it back. So,
Mm,
but
yeah.
yeah, it looks 8-0. And I felt like these things were looking all right here. Like I felt like we're looking good for the first half.
Mm.
And I was quite confident actually. I was quite confident even though it was only 8-0. And then Corey Horsburgh again. Being a bit of a malice, bit of a grub, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, not
yeah,
not a fan of Horsburgh. I like a lot of the Raiders players, but Horsburgh's probably not the one I'm the biggest fan of, to be honest. And I won't lie, it's,
yeah.
on that one. But yeah, it was a tackle on Leka Haliasima.
Mm.
Again, I think yeah. What are your thoughts on that call there?
Oh, yeah, he's just this hothead that does what
Yeah.
he can for his team. Yeah, he gets a but in saying that, bro, it wouldn't surprise me if
Mm,
um if Ricky Stewart's given him the green light as well, telling him, bro, go out there and upset these buggers. Go keep them off their rhythm. You know,
yeah.
do what you have to within reason. But if you cross the line, then hey, that's rugby league, mate.
Mm,
Just don't, just make sure it's not your sideline. Hanging on the sideline is not going to be for too long. Hopefully,
yeah.
some Tamale should get a suspension for that foul mouth show. Shout to the crowd. I get he's a young player, but comparing that to Reese Wash scenario, Tamale should be taught a lesson. Yeah, the-
Mm,
yeah, he's. I guess here we're saying Was HQ, Tamale. Yeah, that's the beauty of our game. These guys are, especially the young fellas are going to fire up. Even the old brigade. They do get lippy or whatever, and there was a lot of that from the game. There was a lot of toing and froing. Tamale and Dylan, that was actually a good little. I think Tamale did get the better of Dylan more so as the
yeah.
game progressed. Um, but I noticed too. So when Dylan second half and when Dylan made the break down the sideline and he flicked the ball back inside, because Tamale tossed him out. Um, but on review, when I watched it again, Tamale actually went back to him to help him get up. So, um, yeah, there was bullshit and banter going on, but the young fella did kind of because Dallin got him a good shot too, and then Tamale got angry at him
Yeah.
early in the game. So yeah, but that's all part of it. If he's going to put himself out there, then he makes himself a target for the next encounter. If the boys want to remind him of it, get one on him, kind of thing. The way we beat that sort of shit is we beat them, we beat them, and then we can make them eat their own words.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, just yeah, you're going through these comments, guys. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. It's great to see some of the viewers put in the comments here. Samoa Metalhead's making a good comment. Refs allowed the Grubs to get away with stuff, especially in the
mm,
first half. Refs sensed a precedent which made the Grubs think they could play dirty. Yeah, I mean,
yep,
I,
yep,
I will do agree on that one. But
mm,
yeah, obviously both teams are obviously infringing quite a lot. I think both teams. Like I know a lot of people are talking about the Raiders more so, but
mm,
from my one point of view, I thought both teams were sort of doing it quite a lot throughout the game, and that's why there was a couple of sin bins and for
mm.
few things that you know,
Uh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, but I think for me, a couple of these
yeah,
standouts were like that. Tom Starling. Tom Starling.
mm,
Um, he's a grub. If I'd never noticed it before, it definitely came up last night, and that
yeah,
like even strange. Probably not so much a grub, but he was hunting us. He was hunting us on defense, and for a smaller guy, he actually wasn't doing too bad.
mm.
Yeah.
um, yeah. This comment here, the Butts Man is saying here. DWZ needs to be dropped and Chance needs to be moved from fullback. We need a attacking fullback, Terry Picky, RTS or Martin. What are your thoughts on What are your thoughts on
Mm.
that? Do you agree or you disagree or you on the
Oh,
fence? How do you feel about it?
I'm a bit of a loyalist, and I really like
Yeah.
Chance. And Chance is yeah,
Mm.
he's not your flashy fullback, um, but the stats don't lie. Um, and if he's running anywhere between 180 to 200 meters per game,
Mm.
admittedly, yeah, there were a couple of times he was running sideways.
True.
Sunday night, last night, but when the when our guys are fatigued and we need that extra, just that little bit of extra energy, Chance will take one or two hit ups in a set of six, and it's like
Mm.
you can almost guarantee it that he's gonna, and he gets smashed just like Dylan. Dylan gets smashed, um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like,
Yeah.
and Uncle, well, Webby, Uncle Anuri loves Chance, and he's barring injury. His chance is always going to be his number one. Not to say
Mm.
that Tuo Piki isn't knocking on the door, because the young fella's making statements. Those few games that he has played, he's played really
Yeah.
well, on the wing. So it's kind of, do feel for the young fella. Um, but yeah, can't see chance getting moved, bro.
Yeah, and yeah, guys, make sure you like the live stream if you haven't done so already. It shows support for the content, and don't forget to like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you are a new viewer and you're watching this and you're a returning viewer, and it all really does help. But yeah, so eight, so it was from there on, yeah, 8-0, and then at
Mm,
7 minutes remaining, I think we didn't really handle the Sinbin period well. And I thought it was quite frustrating that we weren't able to score points.
mm,
And then they scored the try. It was Tom Starling, and just
mm,
look, when I watched back the replay, I looked at that try again and how it was scored, and yeah, a couple of missed tackles. Players like
mm,
Dallin, again, his
mm,
defence have been a bit of a worry since being back from injury, since his return. He's made a few poor decisions. I think personally, that's just my opinion on him. But there's quite a few moments as well, like that moment there that the Raiders were able to go over and score it through Thomas Starling.
mm,
8 points to 6 was the score, and yeah, look, they sort of got the Raiders, a bit of confidence.
mm,
That suddenly they can. Look, we're in this game. That's probably how they probably would have felt, and I think that's the way it probably looked like because at 8-0, maybe the Warriors would have preferred it to be 8-0 before halftime.
mm.
But then you 8-6, 8-6, and then suddenly they'll get themselves back in it. Which
Yeah.
is really annoying as a fan watching it because I felt like we were defending well. I know Webby mentioned the press conferences. There's a couple of things he mentioned. The press conferences he said the defence as well is a bit of a not
Mm,
best throughout this game. Um,
mm.
but yeah, I don't know. I felt like the attack was more of a weakness throughout this whole game for us. But what were your thoughts on the what are your thoughts on the Tom Starling try that he scored before half time?
Yeah. Bit of broken play. Seb Chris cut back and
Yeah.
just caught out inside defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, they we weren't solid on that. So that lane that he ran down, the inside defender wasn't there.
Mm.
Whether they were fatigued or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and like any good hooker, Starling's backing him up. They but actually, and I will say this too. There were a couple of times when the Raiders were kind of doubling around behind each other, and they were almost, or not that they were 50-50 shepherds, but because the player would stop, so
Mm.
he'd surrender in the tackle, which probably was saved his ass, but it happened quite a few times where the Raiders kind of doubled back and stopped, and it's just
Yeah.
like, waiting for the ref to call it, but the Raiders were quick enough just to drop to the ground. It's like, because you could see the Warriors players like ref, um, so yeah. I mean, it was Seb Chris, and by the time he'd punched that hole, he was already motoring, kind of thing. Sorry, but I just saw that question. Uncle Anaru took Aaron off Clark off
Yeah.
for too long. Our middle's wheels fell off. Mm, Levi
Yeah.
Hawkins. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree with that one. there, Levi Hawkins is spot on, and yeah, Aaron Clark, like he was off for quite a while.
Mm,
And I don't understand. Maybe we should have poured him on a bit more early. Maybe didn't leave him on too long. There, but yeah. So 8-6. I think we're with what was a minute 44 seconds remaining for half time, and
mm,
yeah, and then the next set, the Raiders themselves got a penalty. Obviously Pompey there being offside, which was a really silly play to do.
mm,
Just before the break, up 8-6.
mm.
Didn't need that really.
Yeah,
Just a bit of a bad mistake to make.
yeah.
And
That was a
I know,
yeah.
I know there wasn't much in it, but still you've got
Oh,
to make sure you're um,
yeah.
on
And
side.
and and I don't know if you noticed it, bro, but on review, Adam Yu he'd already taken off too soon
Yeah,
because he
too,
stepped out, stopped,
too
and
quick.
looked, and it was
Mm,
just like far out, bro. And it's like he must have sensed the ref was looking straight at him because it's
yeah,
like as soon as look at, and that was like our third um
yeah.
goal line dropout, and it was kind of like
Mm,
far out, bro. So Adam, he takes one step out and looks across, and it's just like far out, bro.
yeah,
Um, he gifted them those 2 points, kind of thing. And I don't want to be dumping on the young fella, but it was just like
yeah,
just a bad call, bro, bad call.
yeah. And so yeah, half time. Look, I think 8-all.
Mm,
And I'd say just from my point of view, I think probably 8-all. Look, I think it was a fair scoreline at half time.
mm,
No, we probably could have gone into the break at the lead, and then, but those last couple of minutes, the Raiders were definitely starting to find their mojo, even without a play down, which was a bit,
mm,
which was the most frustrating thing for
yeah.
me. But yeah, half time and then 8-all, and then the second half. What were your thoughts on the second half? How do you think? Because it was again the same bit of a grind. First half was, but the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking at the stats. The Raiders had a lot more ball in that
Yeah.
second half, and with a few penalties. Again, a few couple of penalties given away. A couple of 60 ends. The Raiders, have a few chances.
Mm.
But yeah, what did you make of that second half for us? What?
Uh, yeah, I guess the opening stanza, the first kind
Mm,
of 10, 15, 20, the Raiders were definitely playing a suffocating defense. They were getting up fast. They were
yeah.
trying to put the pressure on us. They were definitely slowing us down.
Mm,
Um, like we were struggling to make yardage out
oh,
of our 20, and they were yeah, that was that was disheartening to see.
mm,
Again, whether it was because of the conditions or whatever, because both teams are having players that were kind of like trying to cut back on angles, whatever, and that slip over, and it's just like, but the Raiders definitely were starting to aim up, and just starting to put the squeeze on us defensively. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then at one stage we decided to go. I think it was, we decided to go for the two again, and then we took back the lead. It was 10
Mm,
points to 8. And yeah, from there on, it was just again like Raiders. I felt like they were still really coming hard for us.
mm,
And yeah, they I think they scored. I think it was, can't remember when it was, but they scored the next try.
mm,
There, and then they got themselves in front.
mm,
Um, yeah, and then obviously from there on we weren't able to go get across the line, and I think
yeah.
full time was 16-10. So yeah, what were your overall thoughts just
Um,
from that whole
yeah,
whole game?
just little those minor indiscretions, like Seb
Mm,
Chris early into the second half. I can't remember how
yeah,
far through, but when he pushed Dallin over,
yeah.
we got the penalty. But I liked how Lecker just kind of marched up to Seb and just kind of
Mm,
just
yeah,
grabbed him and just kind of gave him a gentle push back, and it was just like I really like Lecker. Halasima, he's making his presence known more and more in the game. And
Mm,
to be fair, the Raiders physically are a bigger pack. They but I just like that Dallin gets pushed like that and Lecker's straight in there like, hey, come on, bro.
yeah,
And then all the other everyone else kind of flies in and like tries to make a bigger deal than what it is. But yeah, that for me just speaks volumes about the young fella. And I can't remember when it happened, bro, but the weird no, the Raiders had put a bomb up.
yeah,
Dallin had kind of challenged for it, but they'd flicked it back. So the Raiders in flicking it back actually pushed it forward. And I think it
mm,
was Tamale to Strange, Ethan Strange, but the ref didn't pull it up, and it was just like,
yeah,
oh, okay, what's going on here? Um, yeah, and so yeah, there were a few things that like, and I think you were saying earlier, bro, that the riffing was probably just a little bit loose at times.
yeah,
Yeah, that was frustrating. Um, but we had some calls go our way as well, so
yeah. Well,
I'd hate to be an NRL ref, bro. Put it that way. Trying to keep
yeah,
everyone happy.
well, yeah. I think I think the officiating both ways went great for the whole game.
Mm,
I know some people say the Warriors got a lot of the calls go their way, but I disagree on that one completely. I
mm,
don't think we had every call go away. We had some calls. Don't get me wrong. I'm
mm,
not gonna lie about that one, but I don't think we had every single call go away throughout the game.
mm,
There were calls. I think calls were shocking either way. I didn't think that one team particularly was favoured for officiating there, but I think we
mm.
had our opportunities. That's the thing, and
Yep.
I don't know. I want to ask you, Rio, this our attack. What are your thoughts on our attack? I think it's still not really clicking.
Mm,
It hasn't really clicked into gear this season so far. What do you make out of it? What are your takes over like well, our defense has been really good and it's great to see because defense wins games, it wins big matches. But we
mm,
can't really rely on our defence. I said it that I can't. I think we can't rely on defence when it's each week a game of footy because you also need to score as many points as you can. So
mm.
I know I don't know. Like that's just my take on it. Some may
Yeah, yeah.
disagree with me on that, but
No, that's all good, bro.
I don't know. Like I just feel like our text probably not quite clicking, and it's we've had a few chances. It's just not. It's not going. Like the ball's not going to hand. We're not executing as well as we want to execute. And I know Webby the past couple of weeks has said, look, we're not been playing well. But we're just scrapping over the line and getting results. And it's been
Mm,
good the last couple of weeks. But at one stage, it's going to come back to. One stage, it's going to come back to bite us that we're not scoring enough points, and it has in this game. We were
hmm.
able to score a couple of tries, but not enough points to go over the line against the Raiders. And Raiders are a very good defensive grinding team, and they're hard to break down. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
I guess for me, bro, the
mm,
yeah, I think it was mentioned tonight as well. Like we were clunky. Um,
yeah,
like I like Chance. Um, not Chance. Sorry, Chanel. I think Chanel's kicking game's got a lot better. But
mm,
again, it just wasn't one of those games for trying the high bombs and backing ourselves. That's a high percentage play.
yeah,
And yeah, I do like. I really think Chanel's kicking game has gotten better. A lot of our grubbers weren't actually that bad through the game, and I would have preferred to see more grubbers than bombs. Again,
yeah,
that's just me. Um,
mm,
but they yeah, it's a funny one, bro. Because like for me, um, yeah, the defense has been awesome. You know, we fell off the wagon last night, but generally speaking, these were games that we lost last season. We only have to go back not even
yeah,
12 months ago. And they're the hard, gritty, grinding games that You know, I'm always going to love a really good defensive effort. Um, and to keep the Raiders to 16 points is a good thing. There's heaps of learnings
Yeah.
out of that last night's game. Um, yeah, we're missing two of our big guns. We've still got guys that are coming back. I
Mm.
think our attack, yeah, we can get a little bit clunky. And I think that was fair to say about like last night. Um, but personally, I just like when the boys are like Metcalf's um, try saving tackle.
Yes.
The like he mowed down a second row, um, and he made sure he got under him. And it's like, mate, that kid's been playing like that for the last 5, 6 rounds. He's been pulling off tackles that are like he's just
Mm.
busting his ass to get to where he needs to be to just to upset the where the opposition are at, especially in times when it looks like they're about to score. It's been um it's been Luke Metcalf, Luca, and his defense. That's kind of like if I was a Warriors player and I had my halfback playing like that, then yeah, I'd be getting G'd up for that kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
yeah. So um yeah, I'm always going to be like a defensive focused kind of like I don't want to say an analysis because um it's kind of like it's just what I see, and it's just you see
Mm.
it and you just think yeah, guys that make that sort of effort, especially on defense, and especially for us, because we were, mate, well, round one proved it. The sort of tries we were letting through, and we used
Oh.
to leak soft tries, bro. Um,
Yeah.
but the defense has definitely gotten a lot. There's a bit more steel in our defense, and I like that. And I know a lot of our fans have mentioned even tonight. We need to get a bit of a variety going in our attack, and it's like, yep, it'll come. I reckon it'll come, but um, defense is very much the plateau that we're working from at the moment. Um, yeah, but that's just me. That's just me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a fair comment. I'm the same. Look, it's defense usually. Well, for me, it's defense always before the attack.
Mm,
Because defense, they say defense wins comps, wins big matches, finals.
yeah,
Puts you
that's
in
right.
contention as a top four side. And look, the last couple of weeks, I'll give credit. Our defense has been great. And I think going into the season, that's the one thing we need to improve on. That was the biggest area we need to improve on going into this year. And
Mm,
that didn't help in round one.
mm. Yeah,
It
yeah.
was just not good enough actually, in my opinion. But
Mm,
and then since then we've been grinding out really close games, getting
mm.
wins, and it's been awesome.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not good for the heart, not good for the stress levels of us fans, but obviously,
I thought
it's
you'd be
really.
used to it, bro. We've had 30 years
Oh
of
no, no,
that.
yeah. I am used to it, but it does.
uh,
I sort of one stage want to go to a game and get a bit
yeah,
more comfortable in the scoreboard.
yeah, yeah.
But
It would be nice.
it is what it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
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 look,
bro.
we've been getting we've been on we've been getting very good close wins over the last couple of weeks.
Mm,
Wins on the road, going to Suncorp, going to Wollongong, going to Christchurch. We've been all over the place.
mm,
And of course, come home, back home, first home game in a while. Look, I don't think we played badly. It's just some areas which I felt like throughout the game maybe we just weren't, just not crisp enough to get across the
mm.
line. It's just execution, really. It's just execution, and
Yep.
I know that the boys will be training hard to get that execution right on the field as well. Just
Mm,
you can't you can do well in the training sessions, but you gotta if you can deliver it on the field, it's where
mm,
it's gonna look real good. But look, I can see what we're trying. We're trying to do something. We're trying things,
mm,
but it's, obviously not there at the moment in terms of attack. But very happy with our defence. The
mm,
season so far. But yeah, look, I think our attack's just been a bit clunky. It's not quite gelling and sinking into gear. Obviously, halves combinations still trying to
mm,
get used to each other. Metcalf and Harris Tavita, and obviously our forwards as well. And we didn't have Barney and Fisher Harris. And look,
mm.
going into this game, I always thought it was going to be tricky. It was going to be tough that your best forwards and but look, in saying that, like we still had the players to go out there and do the result, and we just weren't able to do it. So
Mm.
look, even though we lost two of our best players in Fisher Harris and Barnett, we're still had enough to get over the line
Mm.
for me. So I just
Yeah,
feel
bro.
like there's no,
Yeah, bro.
really no excuses at the end of the day. Might sound harsh, but I just don't feel like there is any excuses. But look, we didn't play badly. We didn't get smashed. We did well. It was
Mm.
close. It's just the Raiders were able to make some big plays, and we weren't able to cope with them. There's a few big moments throughout the game, and
Mm.
they were able to defend their way to a victory. And you got to give
Yeah.
hats off to the Raiders. And I've got to give credit to the Raiders. I'm not one of those fans that would after a game get a bit salty after a loss. Some people would expect Warriors fans would do that. Some are a little bit. Obviously we're a passionate fan base, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Look, I give credit to the Raiders, and I think the Raiders. I feel like they deserve to win that game. We did look. We did enough. We did have enough opportunities to go over and get points on the board to win. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
just not. Just felt like the second half, the Raiders were really suffocating us
Mm.
defensively, and we weren't able to manage it. And obviously, once they got in front, it was
Mm.
it was a tall. I wouldn't say it was a tall order, but it was a bit tough.
Mm. Yeah.
For us to
Oh no,
get back in
definitely,
them
bro.
because they defend so well. And it's a
Mm.
classic Ricky Stewart side, and to come to
Yep.
New Zealand and get a win, and you've got to give your credit to them because a lot of people and Raiders fans I talked to, a lot of them were saying, oh, a lot of people tipped them for the spoon at the start of the year,
Mm.
which I
Yeah.
was really shocked by. I was really surprised. A lot of people had Warriors and the Raiders down the bottom four.
Mm.
They do that every year. They have the Warriors and
Yeah.
Raiders struggling, and the Raiders and Warriors continue to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's right, my bro. That's right.
mm,
It was so and I'd actually mentioned tonight on the Warriors fan TV the when Jacko what was his name, the Owen Petty made the
I'll
break
tell
and
you.
Jacko
Yeah,
collared him, and then he played the ball, and Jacko just like, thank you.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. I loved it because and again, they both teams were making mistakes. You know, the Raiders might get position, we knock it on, whatever they get position, then they knock it on or fumble it. Um, so it really was a seesaw. It was a seesawing game.
yeah.
Um, and again, this is just me, bro. But had that game gone for another 5 minutes, I reckon we would have had them. Real. Oh, missed that one, bro. Um,
Oh,
it's like, yeah, and I mean, yeah, they got us. They managed to keep us out, but there
yeah.
was still that side of me. I was like, we can still come back. Oh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of read it and it disappears. Nah, that's all good, bro. Warriors
Yeah, oh,
defense was okay, but the attack was floundering, especially
yeah,
out wide. Always a slight letdown. Yeah, that's fair, bro. That's fair. Cape Well's doing well. Cape Well's doing well to
yeah,
kind of plug
yeah.
the hole. You know.
Mm.
Yeah, I think and he's been up against some real quality.
Oh, he
So
definitely is.
his his edge, he's definitely holding them up.
Yeah, yeah, and look, I'm happy to be proven wrong because I've been bit of a critic of Kurt Capewell, but it was last year because he didn't since he came in he's quite performed well. He's had
Mm,
some injuries as well, which doesn't help, but I think the
mm,
past couple of weeks he's been playing very well. I will say that.
mm, yeah,
He's obviously he has to be play. He's been out of position. He's been playing in the centres, and that's not his position. So,
mm,
you've got to
yeah,
give your hats off to him. He's done very well there. And
mm,
of course, he went back to his preferred position in the second row in the game, which was good to see. Back in his general position there.
yeah,
Yeah, attack. Yeah, well, Spider Man's just saying. Yeah, Wild's defense was okay, but attack was
mm,
floundering, especially out wide. It's a slight letdown. Yeah, and just execution really. Talked
mm,
about. Yeah, it's just basic. Execution. And had I think if we do get that right, we are going to be a dangerous side. I will
mm,
say that we will find ways to score more points. It's going to happen at some stage. It's going to start clicking
yeah,
into gear. It's not going to be like that
yep,
for ages.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
just these combinations, and these plays are just not falling our way. It's not
Mm.
going our way at the moment. We're not executing correctly, but I think they'll come. It'll come for sure.
Oh
But
yeah, and sorry, bro, but I was gonna say,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think the flip side to that is like
yeah,
you don't make it into the top four and not
mm,
and especially stay there if you don't know how to attack. So yeah, okay, we're clunky and we're still finding our way, and we're halfway through
yeah,
the season. Um,
yeah,
but we're
definitely.
exactly where we need to be. And I said this last
Mm,
week on our Monday night quarter, like the
yeah,
Warriors are chasing number one. I actually, I absolutely believe it. They want the doggy spot. Um, we're still in the top four, you know.
mm,
And more so because of the defense. But once we do click into gear with our attack, once we start getting those set plays, they start to be they iron them out and they start scoring tries from them. Um,
yeah,
we're gonna be, yeah, because I can't see us dropping out of even the eight, especially the way we're playing. Can't win them all. Oh no,
yeah,
absolutely. No one wins them
absolutely.
all. No one goes through the entire season without a loss.
No,
That's the nature of the NRL. What I'm saying is we once our attack clicks into gear,
yeah,
then that's just going to solidify our place. But yeah, I think the Warriors are chasing top spot and they want to get there. Absolutely, that's my heartfelt analysis.
yeah,
No,
yeah, and
despite the weekend.
I think if we do once that clicks into gear, we're going to look more, more of a threat each week. I know a lot of teams apparently be saying this year that the Warriors are the hardest team to
Mm,
to, to come up against. I heard a
yeah,
comment Gus
yeah.
made. Some of the apparently a lot of teams are saying the Warriors are the most difficult team to come up against. So that's really interesting. There,
That's
but
good to hear. It's
yeah,
good to
it's,
hear.
it's good to hear, and I think
Mm,
look, this loss is I think for me it's a bit of a obviously it's a shame, it's gutting, it's disappointing.
mm,
But in saying it, look, I think that after this game you're looking at it, look, it might be a loss that the Warriors might need. You
mm,
don't want a loss, of course. You never do want a loss. You never want to
mm.
lose a game of footy, but
Yeah.
this is a loss that they might look at and say, look, it's definitely something we can look at and get back and improve on. A lot of works on, of course, and then go into the next couple of weeks, which are really going to be tricky with some
Mm,
really tough games.
yep.
But yeah, look, just quickly, I just want to pop in about the stats. Just want to talk about the stats and maybe ask you
Yeah, bro.
about your player of the match because look, I think there was the player of the match. I know it's look. What do you think here in regards to your player of the match for the game?
Yeah. Actually, that's. Mm. So on review,
Mm,
yeah, that's a good question, bro.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
I think. Oh, wow. Okay. Um, but I don't want to keep saying this guy because he keeps getting mentioned every single week. But like
yeah.
Aaron Clark when he's on, um,
Mm,
like the guy makes such a difference for us.
oh,
But he
definitely.
like even Luke Metcalf,
Mm,
you know, um, he
yeah,
got the conversion from the sideline. It was just like, oh, choice.
yeah,
um, yeah. If I had to choose between those two, I'd probably lean more towards Aaron Clark because he's doing the hard yards and he
yeah,
loves the confrontation. And I think I can't remember when in the second half, but when Big Joe done that shoulder charge on Rog, it's Aaron that's walking up to him going like that, you know, and he's not
yeah,
shy for he won't back down, and it's just like
yeah.
yeah, I'd have to go Aaron Clark. That's just me, but he highlights every single week. He just
Mm,
keeps coming up with those little one percenters, those effort on effort plays. That's just like, mate, he's the Joe Tarpany of our team. But I think I just love him. I love the way he's playing, love the way he's come home, and just loving the environment, embraced the team and made it his own. Definitely a step up from Tohu. But yeah, sorry, Aaron would be my player of the day.
Yeah, and Aaron Clark's. I think, look, he's been our sign of the year. He's been the
Absolutely,
sign of the year in the
absolutely.
NRL as a whole.
Yep.
And I look when we signed him from the Titans, look,
Mm,
I wouldn't say I didn't like it. I was sort of on the fence a bit. I wasn't sure. Look, I thought he was playing all right at the Titans. He's had some solid games and going about his work there. And obviously, he left the club a couple of years ago due
mm,
to many reasons. Obviously, he wanted to go and get another opportunity, and that's what he did. And yeah, and then obviously the Warriors signed him, and then look, I think throughout the off season, I was sort of warming into it. It was like, yeah, this is actually looking promising. It's gonna do pretty well for us this year. And
mm.
well,
Yeah,
he from round one, I thought from round one, even when we lost to the Raiders down there at Vegas, I think he was our best player that day. I think he was very consistent. It was surprised that he was off the bench. I was surprised he didn't start in that game, and then
mm,
he's been ever consistent ever since. I think he's been the best 13 in the game right now.
yeah,
I think just my opinion. I think he's the best 13 in the game, and he's going to be really well. He's going to be definitely in the Kiwis lineup, definitely for
yeah,
the Kiwis
yeah.
lineup, sure. For the end of the
Absolutely,
year
bro.
with their games in the Pacific Championship. So yeah, but I'm going to actually give it to Jackson Ford. Yeah, I think Jackson Ford
Oh, okay.
just looking at his stats, and I think 209
Mm,
all running meters for Jackson
mm,
Ford and 18 all runs, 90 post contact meters, 5 tackle breaks, and 16 hit ups for
mm.
Jackson Ford. I thought Jackson
Yeah,
Ford had a pretty good solid game actually.
yeah.
I think he was probably one of our best up there with our best forwards. Aaron Clark was definitely up there, but I think
Mm.
yeah, I'll give it to Jackson Ford here. I think Jackson
Nice.
Ford had a very good solid game. So yeah, he
I
was my
like that.
warrior of the match. He was my man of the match for this game. And yeah, Naz Williams is just saying he agreed on Clark. He'll be Tapane's Kiwi twin teammate next
Mm,
international. Therefore,
hell
Naz, he
yeah.
definitely will
Hell
be.
yeah.
Yeah, he'll be
Mm.
definitely up there. And Maz is 100%. Aaron Clark is FAFU there, but yeah,
Hmm.
but anyway, so just going to wrap it up because Rio has to jet off. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
late one over there.
Nah, all good, bro.
Yeah,
Can I?
so
Sorry, bro. Can I just
yeah,
say I didn't give my score prediction tonight on our Monday night corridor.
all right,
Um,
yep,
I got everyone else's scores, but my score for this weekend against Rabbitohs Sunday night. I'm gonna go 32-28. Was high scoring game. Yeah, and we're gonna stick it to them. Although it'll be close. Yeah, we'll still stick it to them. But yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, just on ahead of that, bro. But no, just thanks heaps for having me on, Christian. It's been a while. I can't remember the last time I jumped on with you.
Yeah.
Um, but always a pleasure, bro. And like it's always good to talk about the team, the boys, how they're going. Yeah, and really enjoyed tonight, bro. So thanks, yeah, thanks for tonight, bro.
No worries. Yeah, thanks for giving up your time coming on,
Oh
and
no, sweet as.
yeah, really do appreciate it, and it's always you're always welcome back on. Like I say, with a lot of the fans, the content creators, anyone that's allowed to
Mm,
pop on and have a say. It's always good to hear the views of the other fans in the
yeah,
community, and
absolutely.
yeah, so it's great having you on, Rio. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, well, the boys are back in action again on Sunday, another Sunday
Mm,
game,
mm.
and they're taking on the Bunnies down there in Sydney. And I've got two very special guests joining me tomorrow night on this channel. We're going to preview the game. We've got Mavo from Bunnies TV. First time I've had him
Oh,
on the channel. Yeah, the guy that
nice,
runs the Bunnies TV YouTube channel. And he's going
nice.
to come on for the first time. And I've also got CJ as well, a great friend of mine. CJ's a Bunnies fan as well. And he runs one of the Instagram pages, Rabbitohs Report. So you got those two coming on the channel tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Australia time. So that'll be, I think it's 8 o'clock over there or 9 o'clock New
I
Zealand
think
time.
it's 9. Yeah,
9?
9 o'clock,
9
bro.
o'clock,
Yep.
yeah, 9 o'clock over there. So it is a bit of a late one, but yeah, if you can't tune in live and watch it back the next day. But
Mm,
yeah, we've got those two coming on. And yeah, they're going to come on pre the game for the Bunnies on Sunday as well. Talk about that game on tomorrow night's show. But Thanks everyone for watching. Like the video. Please, guys, don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. It really does help the channel and pushes the content out to more people, and it's shows that you're enjoying the videos and the live streams that I do as well. Share the videos around. Share the stream. Subscribe if you are a new viewer or returning viewer to the channel. Haven't done so already as well. Trying to get to 3K subscribers. We're not far away from 3K as well. So yeah, let's help us
Nice,
get there real
nice,
soon.
bro.
But
Hey.
yeah, thanks to the viewers again. Cheers to Naz. Cheers to Mez as well. We had Tans as well early in the chat. She was in here as well watching. So good to see everyone all here. As well as ESAS, who's a Tigers fan. Good to see.
Sure.
And yeah, Spider Man, and yeah, a few others that I've missed there. So Levi Hawkins as well, a couple of others in the chat. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a good rest of the night. Have a good rest of the evening. Have a good rest of the week. And yeah, I'll see you guys all tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Australia time, 9 p.m. New Zealand time, for a preview for the Bunnies match. And looking forward to having two Bunnies fans, tragic Bunnies supporters, coming on the channel to preview that game. And up the Wales.
Nice.
Have a good one.
Up the
Cheers.
wires, bro. Go the Warriors.